Stephen, the feeling. What's the major feeling for you after that game?
I was proud of them, mate. Yeah. They're not an easy team to play, but we stuck to the game plan, which was the most important thing. And obviously, we've been struggling for goals. So we just have to keep pushing and kept believing that was going to come. And we worked on a couple of things with set pieces, what area to put the ball into. And I was really, really proud of Susan because I think she actually listened to the information that we worked with. So really good. I thought the girls at the back were sensational. Losing Sada was a tough one because she's been a key pillar for us. I thought Nat did a great job. I thought Lincoln laid a platform from a physical perspective, and then Sarah really brought the energy after that. Gave Liz Anton a bit of a hard time there, which is not an easy task. Playing back to goals, very difficult, so that was good. And the midfield, I think, was a bit of they had their time and we had our time in the game. I thought in the first half we played some lovely football. Second half was pretty ugly. So overall, pretty happy.
The Canberra coach mentioned he felt it was a very transitional game, and certainly looking on, there didn't appear to be a huge amount of control from either side for long periods of time. You'd get it for sure. Is that a fair assessment? You thought it was a real battle back and forth without anybody really stamping their authority on it?
I thought the first half we probably controlled it. We had a fair amount of ball, and I think we did quite well with it. Just that final third was just still a little bit a tad predictable, maybe taking the wrong option. And I think the wind, I don't like to talk about the wind too much because like everyone's like, what's with the wind? But like ultimately the wind was a bit of an issue for them, I thought, in the first half. I don't think they played well with the wind. They actually played much better without it. And then for us, it's probably the same. You get a little bit trigger happy with the wind sometimes here. So that's probably where the transitional nature came in the second half. So he's probably right in that sense. I thought we should have had a penalty. I don't know what we're going to do to get a penalty. I mean, Susan literally drags the ball to her other foot and the trailing leg gets pulled from underneath her in the box. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it earlier on about VAR, so perhaps that is the answer for it to come into the league. You touched on Julia. What's the extent of the injury? Have you got any information this early?
She kind of felt like it was a cramp in her calf, and then we couldn't sort of get the cramp to go away, which suggests she's pulled a calf. So hopefully nothing crazy. We've got Newcastle next week. If someone has to step in, they've got to step in. We've got the depth in the squad. Obviously, you don't want to change your back four, especially someone like Jules, who's a real leader for us. So we'll see. Hopefully, that's all okay. But no, just proud of him tonight, mate. I think, there's something about playing here that the girls really they really get us up for the game, the crowd, which is really special for us.
You've got Newcastle next. Obviously, the table it's really transitional now. With, as you've mentioned earlier, the points here and there can shoot you up the table very, very quickly, and just as equally push you back down. So, the approach for the Newcastle game, I suppose, from here on in, has got to be every game is a cup final to make sure you get to that 6.
Yeah, and I think you probably saw elements of that tonight, where we fought for everything. We're still just not quite getting the key moments right. I would say we're 80% of the way there. That 20% growth has got to come with just a bit of street smarts and then that final piece at the end of the puzzle at the top of the field. I think once those two things come good for us, I think we're a real handful. So I'm super happy with the progress, and just like honestly, Tiana McKenna, like. Wow. And Zog, both those two girls tonight were superb.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you've got a world-class striker in Michelle Heyman, and she didn't get a sniff all game. Sitting in front of those, though, are you a little bit concerned that potentially the midfield is still not balanced? It's still not clicking in there, or are you happy with what you got? I mean, Georgia came in off the bench. But there were periods in there where it seemed as if it was Tian and Zog against them. And
Yeah, I
you,
mean, I think Emma and Doltz are key pillars, and I think Charlie did a great job tonight. I don't know how many times she got a foot in, or she played a different role, which we knew we needed Charlie for this particular game because she's a bit of a bruiser. So obviously having Cassidy out for so long is we've had to reinvent the midfield, definitely. We're probably not quite chipping away at it as much as we want to, but I would say when we get it right, we look pretty tidy. And defensively, I thought all three of them were great tonight. I don't know if Dolson gets enough credit for the work that she does. And Emma's first class. I mean, everyone's got to remember Emma's only 21. So, no, I'm actually quite happy with the midfield. I think from an attack perspective, we need more. And that's our growth area. But before, we were conceding silly goals, and we did last week as well in Wellington. We've fixed our defence for the most part. I think we're pretty stingy in defence now. So now we've got to get that next piece. Once we get that piece right, I think we can challenge. Definitely, there's no reason why we can't. We're a good enough team.